Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk Philadelphia. But unfortunately, this is not just a normal episode, but unfortunately, this is our last episode of the 25th season of Sports Talk Philadelphia. But don't be worried, this will not be a sad farewell episode. This will be an amazing goodbye episode. We will be discussing the draft and the Phillies. Please stay here and stay tuned. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm your host, Braden Knapp, and I'm here joining the full panelists here today. Here on my left, Tyler Farmer. How are we doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Over here in the middle, we have Tyler Wiater. Unfortunately, it's his last show, senior year. How are we feeling today?
Feeling good. A little sad, but feeling good.
Ready. We'll get right into it. Over on the end, Chris, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. Ready to talk with you guys.
Perfect. So let's get right into it with the NFL draft recap. The draft was something special, and that's saying it nicely. Cam Ward, as we discussed earlier last week in the show, goes number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. Mr. Irrelevant of the draft we all love to talk about is Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor, who ended up going to the Patriots. And one of the biggest storylines of this draft, which I can assure you no one and their mother had this happening, is Shedeur Sanders, the QB, falls all the way to the 5th round and pick 122, I believe, to the Cleveland Browns. And that was actually the second quarterback that they took of the draft. Very interesting. So just starting here with you, Tyler. It was something, wasn't it, this draft, was it?
Yeah, what a draft it was. I mean, this Shedeur slide was just, nobody saw this coming. I didn't believe that Shedeur was going to go in the top 5 like some people said, but to see him slide all the way to the 5th round and to watch some of the quarterbacks that were drafted before him go, like Tyler Schutt and Dylan Gabriel, it just was, I was just completely shocked by this. I know there was some concern with some of his pre-draft interviews and, how he may have conducted himself, and I understand that making him fall a little bit, but to fall all the way to the 5th round, that was just a shock to me. It
was an incredible shock to me as well. The Browns took a coach with their first quarterback selection. Dylan Gabriel, I don't want to be rude. Obviously, he's a very good quarterback. He was in the Heisman running for a reason. However, translating the NFL game, this guy is not going to be an NFL quarterback. He's going to probably be a coach in 3 or 4 years. And then, as you said earlier, Tyler Schutt. This is a 25-year-old rookie. I believe he's older than Jalen Hurts. He has better. Obviously, he has some things you like about him that he has over Shedeur. But it's like, really, the Saints really thought that was. I was really not a fan of this Shedeur Sanders slide, and I once again not think he was a top 5 pick. But 5th round, Ty, how do you feel about the Shedeur Sanders sliding?
It was crazy to watch. I think everybody that was watching the draft was, glued to see where he was going to go because it just kept going and going. I got to a point where, 2nd round came, 3rd round came, and I was like, can he go undrafted? I really thought he might have went undrafted, but we got to that 5th round. He got picked by the Browns. Just an unbelievable story that really captivated the entire weekend for the NFL draft.
It really did. Everyone was just all eyes. And like you said, there was a real possibility that Shedeur Sanders was going to go undrafted, which there was no way I expected that. But this draft was also filled with many other surprising picks with the Giants. Not only did they take a dual card with their 3rd pick, which we all kind of figured that was going to happen. Great pick by them. Unfortunately, as Eagles fans, he's going to be a problem for us. But with their 2nd pick in the 1st round, they traded up to pick Jackson Dart. Ooh, I don't know about this. Chris, how do you feel about this other surprising pick?
That's a great question, Braden. I was, like a lot of people, I was shocked. Not that they traded up. I assumed that they were going to trade up for a quarterback, not Dart. I assumed it was trading up for the quarterback we've just been talking about. I assumed Shador was going to go to the Giants. I saw that was one of the teams that was interested in him. But now, yeah, with Dart, that's a very interesting quarterback room of him, Jameis, and Russell Wilson. Dable said that Russell Wilson looks like he's going to be the guy. But yeah, I was stunned that the Giants traded up for that. But it's very good for the Eagles. And Abdul Carter is following the Saquon timeline. That means he'll be an Eagle in 5 years. The Giants are just our little brother, so he'll be an Eagle in due time.
Chris, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been kind of joking around a little bit like that. It's just like, well, you saw Abdul Carter. You saw how much he had a passion for the Eagles. It's like, okay, he got drafted by the Giants. Of course, he's ready to go and give it his all. But is he going to give it his all? Really, can he actually give it his all? I'm not really too sure about that. But I'm sure he's going to be a great player. That's obviously who the Giants picked. But just quickly here, going with the rest of our division, the Cowboys had an interesting pick with Tyler Booker. Drafted him a little earlier, but I mean, he looks like a stud. Another Tyler offensive lineman, which is interesting. He did say after he was drafted during his interview that he makes people stop playing football. Don't know if I really agree with that. And also, you're going to Dallas, so get ready to lose. So I'm not really a fan of that. But going over to you, Tyler, what was at least one of your favorite picks of this draft?
I mean, are we not going to talk about my Baltimore Ravens and the fact that they got two of the best defensive players at their positions, both falling to them, starting with Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia, who can play any position on the field. I talked about him a little bit last week and how he's going to help allow Kyle Hamilton to go back to being a positionless safety and be a game wrecker. And then Mike Green out of Marshall. Not only does he have all the physical attributes, he's got the production to go along with it. 17.5 sacks last year, led the nation. He slid due to some character concerns, but knowing the Ravens, they did their homework on him and they're confident that he can get past those character concerns and be a contributor, which I think he will be. I mean, Joe Burrow, whoever sorry behind the Browns put out there, whoever sorry behind the Steelers put out there, I'm just going to let y'all know you better be ready for us because we coming.
Tyler, I was in love with those first two picks. The rest of the Ravens draft, don't really know, but come on. Malachi Starks, that is exactly what I didn't want to have. And Malachi Starks already adding to that safety room. Oh, Tyler, they're going to be dangerous, 100%. Going over to you, Ty, what was one of your favorite picks of this draft?
I love Genty going to the Raiders. Loved watching him in college, put up huge numbers week in, week out. Really excited to see what he does in the NFL. Hope he has a great career because I like watching him personally, so looking out for that.
Definitely. And now I would like to get into the Eagles draft recap because they, like the Ravens, had a very good draft, at least the top couple picks. We over here, the first pick, they picked Alabama linebacker Jahad Campbell. There was selected 9 total players. It was a pretty balanced draft with 5 defensive picks and 4 offensive picks. Quickly, I'll read through you who they drafted. Obviously, Jahad Campbell, linebacker. With their second-round pick, they got Andrew McCuba, who looks like an insane safety, who is your exact Gardner Johnson replacement. Going to be amazing to see. We have, who goes by Vanilla Gorilla, and Ty Robinson, this insane defensive tackle from Nebraska. Looks amazing. Mac McWilliams, this cornerback out of UCF, looks awesome. Samil Munden Jr., another Georgia Bulldog linebacker, small linebacker to play off the ball, looks real good. And then we got some interesting picks here. We got Kendall, center, obviously Stoutland U. Quarterback as well, Kyle McCord was very awesome to see how he will do in this quarterback room. But also one of my favorite picks is Cam Williams, come back in the 6th round. This offensive tackle last year was one of the top-rated offensive tackles going in the draft, and now we get in the 6th round. This looks like a Jordan Mailata 6th rounder plug and play. It looks amazing, this Eagles draft. But going over to you, Chris, how do you feel about it?
It was an awesome watch. Great to see Howie doing his thing again throughout the draft. Really, really love the Ty Robinson pick. His combine numbers were unbelievable. I think he ran a 4.8, and then his vertical was off the charts. Just unbelievable athleticism for a D lineman. I really like that pick. Makuba, as you mentioned already, the CJ replacement, but he's a big-time player from a big-time conference. He knows he's played in big games. Obviously, he's played in the college football playoff. So those two in particular, really love those picks. And I'm interested to see what they do for the Eagles. And the Vanilla Gorilla is an all-time nickname already.
It is a very much all-time nickname. We were talking before the show that Nebraska had made T-shirts for that. We're going to have to change the Eagles colors, and we're going to have to get those out there, I think, to the public. But going over to you, Tyler, once again, with this Eagles draft, I mean, at least what stood out to you with this draft?
Definitely what stood out to me was, the Eagles emphasized their first few picks was to replenish that defense that did lose so many pieces from the Super Bowl team. I really loved, I'm going to just stick with the safeties. I loved the Andrew Makuba pick. He's a 4-year starter, so he's got a lot of experience. You can plug and play him right away. He's a playmaker. He's got great instincts. He's got a lot of what C.J. Gardner-Johnson had. I really love that pick for the Eagles. He's going to fill in quite nicely into that role that Gardner-Johnson left.
I feel like he's going to fit in perfectly. At least, I mean, that's the inner Eagles fans talking. I know a little bit. We can't really judge draft picks before they even took a snap yet. However, he looks to be the guy to replace Gardner-Johnson. Real quickly before we wrap up, I'm going over to Utah. We took Jahad Campbell with the first pick, or with our first pick. He looks something, doesn't he?
He looks unbelievable. I can't believe he fell to us. That's part of the Howie magic. We heard some rumors that the Eagles were trying to move up for a few hours, trying to get him. That he fell to us. Coming from Bama, he's going to fit in real nice in that linebacker room with Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean when he gets back, and I'm really excited to watch him on that defensive side of the ball.
He's going to be amazing to watch. I mean, a fun pick with Campbell is that he can play both parts of the linebacker. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for the Eagles. Let's hope the offseason becomes real good and strong. Let's now get into the Phillies. The Phillies rebound versus the Cubs. They won the Cubs series 2-1. Kepler with 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, and 10-4 win. Nola had 3 hits with 1 run given up in the 3-1 win. And the current series is a 3-game versus the Nationals, up 1-0. And the game last night, the Phils, they love to play with our emotions. They really did. Chris, watching last night games, that's I feel like put it perfectly, is playing with their emotions. They were winning, then losing, and then they end up winning the game.
Oh, yeah, and unfortunate turn. That's probably the way the season's gone so far for the Phillies. They did a lot of things right. They still ultimately ended up winning the game. But the 9th inning when Kirkering came in, he was doing all right, but then he had the Rojas error and the Trey missed throw. And then when Nathaniel Lowe came up, I was just like, oh, the Nationals have 2 guys on. The Phillies just made 2 really bad plays, and he hits the home run. But fortunately, the Phillies fought and battled back and came back and won in the 9th inning on a wild pitch, which they haven't done in over 30 years, which was interesting to see. And it was still, like you said, they love to play with our emotions. They love to, make us wait everything out. But regardless, they still got the win last night, and they got to get it done again tonight because later in the series, Taiwan's going to be throwing. You never know what you get with him. So tonight, I think Sanchez is going to go out there and give you a good outing.
They really did, and you said that perfectly. It was great that they actually got the win, even though they made it close. They really do like to make it close, but it was great that they got the win. Going over to Utah, just with this last game, how was it for you watching it?
Just another game like we've been seeing this season so far, up and down. I mean, they had the lead, and then I think it was actually on the 0-2 count in the 9th that Lowe hit that 3-run bomb to take the lead. Got some luck to get that win with the wild pitch. So, I mean, they strung 3 wins together. Let's hope they can keep it together and keep these wins coming and win tonight against the Nationals.
I really hope they can do that. Well, I mean, I think they can. Sanchez will be starting tonight. We know he's a great pitcher. He'll be going up against Irwin, so it'll be a fun matchup. But then, as Chris alluded to earlier, the third and final game, it's our favorite Taiwan Walker is pitching. So it's safe to say that you can just put that as a loss, but maybe there's a slight chance that we get a win. But pretty much we know it's going to be a loss. So, yeah, tonight is definitely going to be a must-win game. Going over to you, Tyler. At least going into tonight's game, what do the Phils got to do?
They just got to keep building on the momentum that they built from the Cubs series. We talked about it a little bit last week, how tough it was going to be for them coming off that slump. Now you got to go up against a good team like the Cubs to try and figure some things out. But I think when you are in a slump and then you play a good team and you play as well as the Phillies did, what it does is it brings back some of that confidence and focus that they had lost over their previous 2 series, which they hadn't done so well in. So I think it's just about continuing to build on that. You got another, I don't want to say easy, you have a very winnable game tonight that you just have to keep stacking those victories. Even with Taijuan Walker starting in the third game, you still should be able to take care of business. You're at home as well. So for me right now, the Phillies, they seem to be back on track. It's just about continuing that momentum forward.
Definitely. I mean, you said it perfectly. It's literally just about continuing that momentum. And at least looks like right now, they're starting to play better. Yes, they had that little slow start of the year. But however, that's baseball. I mean, there's going to be slow starts, and sometimes it's at the beginning, sometimes it's not. But I mean, as you said perfectly, coming off winning that Cubs series, which is they're first in their division, it was a great win to have. And then now playing the Nationals, which we know, interdivisional team. Not the greatest, as we said. It's not like it's a cakewalk or anything, though. But it's a good series to go into and play. And yesterday, the first game, they did almost blow it. And if it wasn't the Nationals, probably not win that game, some say. But however, they did, and they won that game. And it's nice to at least see that we're actually hitting the ball. I mean, once, unfortunately, that with the errors and then with Kirk Rain, I didn't want to say all hope was lost in last night's game. But it's like, okay, like every time this has happened so far with the Phils, they lose. And it's not like to be mean, but it's just they have. So seeing that they've gone out and they've come back and they've actually hit the ball and they ended up winning, it was amazing to see. Ty, I mean, how is it actually seeing the offense come out and hit the ball?
It's great to see. We want to keep seeing it every night, every game. Even though we know they can't do that, it's just about consistency, building on the little things. Small ball, you don't have to hit the ball out of the park every game, but it really is great to see. You want to see all facets of the game come together: the pitching, the hitting, and then hopefully the team can come away with a win. So that's what we're hoping for.
Definitely. And just going off, as I said, unfortunately, this is our last episode for the 25th season. But I want to now talk about this whole upcoming summer that the Phils have. Now there's a lot of baseball coming up, and there's a lot of, at least right now, there's issues. Either the bullpen and the hitting obviously has been an issue right now. It's kind of looking unlike that. Trey's actually starting to hit and look really good. But at least going and looking at the rest of the season, Chris, what do the Phils got to do to at least by the time we come back to the show, they're playoff contenders?
Well, absolutely, yeah. So ideally, keep playing the brand they're playing right now. Taking 2 or 3 from the Cubs. At the minimum, take 2 or 3 from the Nationals. Just they got to keep taking 2 of 3 as the season goes. But as far as like moves or anything they can truly do, it's going to be really, really big when Ranger Suarez comes back, because once you get him back, you have 5 guys that every time they're out there, they're at the very least giving you a good chance to win. You're confident with all 5 of those guys. So obviously getting him back and solidifying the starting rotation is ideal. Also, if the bullpen continues to be as much of a struggle as it is, maybe they look to add an arm at the deadline, hopefully maybe 2, but just pitching, more pitching help as the season goes. Maybe they trade for an outfielder. I don't know how likely that is and who's really going to be available on the market. But just with how hopefully Marsh picks it up when he comes back from the rehab stint. He's been a little shaky to start the season. Rojas had that mishap. You never know what you're going to get with him at the plate. But overall, hopefully they just keep playing like they're playing. But definitely some bullpen help to go forward.
I would agree with that. At least right now things look, the bullpen needs some help. And looking on to the rest of the season, I feel like there has to be some sort of change, whether if that's obviously acquiring a player, but can they acquire? There's a cost to acquiring a player, but there's been some things being spread out there, some news of maybe adding a 6-man to the rotation, which there's different opinions, I would say, on that. I want to now hear your guys' opinion, Ty. How would you feel about a 6-man? Well, since Suarez is coming back, how would you feel about that?
I don't mind it at all. I think during the regular season you can afford to do that. Give the guys, another extra day rest, so that way they're as fresh as can possibly be for the playoffs, which hopefully they're in. So I don't mind a sixth man at all. I think it gives you a chance to keep like Walker in the lineup, and then if he doesn't have a couple of good games, you can throw him back in the bullpen, be a length guy in the bullpen to kind of shore up. If a starter doesn't have a great game and only goes a few innings, so I don't mind a six-man rotation at all.
Also, I kind of see both sides. I feel like because yes, I mean, why not add another person in the rotation and just give more time, some space. But also, there's something to be said of players like routines and all that they have. Chris, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, no, I totally see Ty's side of it, where you get the guys the extra rest. But unfortunately, I don't like seeing Taijuan Walker start, as most Phillies fans do. I would prefer to see him as a long man right now, coming out of the bullpen, up 10, down 10, no low leverage for him. But ideally, the real reason why I think they should keep it at 5 is just because Zach Wheeler has commented on this in the past, and he's stated that he prefers the 5-man. It's better for his routine and his rhythm. Last year, when they did go to a 6-man for a brief period of time, his start after that was the worst start of the season that he had. So that's why I would say to just keep it 5 and with the 5 that they have. But if they do decide to go 6, I can see the other side of that as well for the extra rest for the other guys.
It's definitely, I feel like, well, it's something to explore. I mean, we don't know. What if, there could be an injury or whatever. Going on the season, if there is a 6 pitcher, I mean, it'll be interesting, I think, to say the least. But I'm going off of, as you said, with that maybe acquiring some outfielders, other talents, how likely will that be? And I don't know. But at least of adding players, I know a player that, at least pitching-wise, is Painter. When do we want to see him play this season? I want to going over to you, Ty. When do you think? I know it's probably soon, but when do you think he comes up?
I would have to say sometime middle of the summer. Hopefully he can come up whenever. If the guy's struggling, then he comes up sooner. If not, we can keep him off till the end of the season.
And that is all the time we have for the Phils. Let's hope when we return to the 26th season that they are out and competing for a World Series. Now we are moving on to the Fast Five. Starting with me today, we are on with the Union season hopes. So now, also with all other sports, we talk about the Union for their upcoming or for their rest of their season. They're currently sitting in 3rd place in Eastern Conference, which is amazing to see with Cincy and Columbus ahead of them. Miami is behind, obviously their game behind. They'll probably end up finishing ahead of them. Union, when they come back, probably a 5th, 4th place team. I just don't want them to fully focus on developing Kevon when he's going to the city in July. So I just want to build on his brother Quinn and build around the players that we do have. And Damani, the striker they just got for, I believe, $4.4 million. Build around him. Let's get him some more playing time, and at least let's just keep it together. Hopefully Blake with injuries, that's another thing we keep on, and just hope the Union have a great and awesome season. Now moving on to the NBA playoffs. Continue here with Tyler.
Yeah, this has been one of the most action-packed first rounds that I've seen in the NBA playoffs in a minute. These series have been great, even the series that have wrapped up already, specifically the Celtics and the Magic, and then the Pacers and Bucks, they wrapped up last night. Those were still competitive series, even though they only went 5 games, and I feel like the Pacers series could have gone even longer had Damian Lillard been healthy for the Bucks, but unfortunately he wasn't. So just seeing that, the Pistons, they were able to keep their series going against the Knicks as well. That was great to see. The West, it's just a dogfight in some of those series. I expect the Lakers to bounce back and at least extend it one more game before they eventually send their sorry behinds home. So it's just been great watching the NBA playoffs. One thing I just want to touch on too, Tyrese Halliburton's dad, you are a loser for what you did last night, taking away from your son's moment. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. That definitely was something interesting that happened. Now moving on to Chris's. Trey Turner, the X factor that they need. Let's hear it.
I think he is. I mean, look at Trey. Last year he had a big bounce back season, and I'm not one of those people that hates the guy. I think he is a great player, but I can acknowledge he hasn't truly lived up to the $300 million contract that he was given. He's clearly not Bryce Harper. He was supposed to be Bryce's, dynamic duo guy. But I mean, hey, he came around. He's been coming around so far. He had 4 hits last night, had a brutal error in the 9th, but 4 hits. His defense overall has been pretty good. On Baseball Savant, he's got a +2 run value. But I believe if Trey can really play up to the $300 million contract that he's worth, and if he is just Trey Turner, the ceiling of the Phillies is truly the World Series, because if you have him playing at his highest potential and you know what Harper and the other guys are going to do, it makes the Phillies a much more dangerous team.
Definitely, and I would love for Trey Turner to be the X factor. They almost need him. Now let's hear it from Tyler. We have final Eagles draft grade. Let's hear it.
So for my grade that I'm going to give the Eagles, it's going to be a B+. I really liked all the guys they got. We talked about, the guys, Mabuka, going to be great replacement for Gardner Johnson, Ty Robinson, Vanilla Gorilla. I mean, what more can you say? Just with that nickname alone, I think he's going to be able to come in, step in, and produce right away. Jahad Campbell is going to be a demon on the defense. Really love that pick. With the benefit that we have winning the Super Bowl, having guys come back, and you can kind of just pick guys that of need in the draft. That really helps the Eagles and how we continue forward.
It was amazing to see. I mean, I maybe I'd give it like an A+, maybe a little bit. That just a little bit of the bias of the Birds fans talking. But now with the final, let's hear Tyler's final emotional goodbye. Let's hear it.
It's not going to be any waterworks today, but yeah, sad. The only regret I have is that I wish I joined sooner. Being able to come up with you guys, thanks for having me on, talk sports, because sports brings people together. I love talking all sports, Phils, Flyers, Sixers, and Eagles. Thank you to Tanya for pushing me to be on camera, because I just wanted to stay behind the camera. So appreciate Tanya and giving me this opportunity, and that's all I got.
It was awesome. I just want to say it was awesome having you here. It was awesome having you. I mean, we can't wish you nothing but the best as you move on to your life's endeavors. But just before we wrap up, just real quickly, I just want to say once again, thank you, and I hope nothing but the best. I don't know if these guys want to share anything, but just thank you for once again. Now, moving on, that is the rest of our show. Please check out our socials at SportsTalk Philadelphia on X and Twitter. It will be an incredibly long time till we see you next, unfortunately, with the 26th season. Please stay tuned. I mean, a lot of things are going to happen when we come back. Sixers going to get Cooper Flagg. I mean, who knows? The Flyers, their pick. Let's hope the lottery falls in their lap. Top pick there to play along Michkov. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We have all that and more. Thank you, and see you next year. Goodbye.